August 1st, 1974, 3 miles beneath the Pacific Ocean, 16,500 feet down, where pressure crushes steel like paper. A massive claw closes around a Soviet nuclear submarine. Above, the Hughes Glomar Explorer holds position. 618 feet of specialized ship, 35,000 tons of steel and secrets. Soviet trawlers, intelligence collectors, loiter at 300 yards. Cameras out, every move recorded. Inside the control room, CIA officers watch grainy video feeds. The claw, they call it Clementine, grips the radioactive tomb of 98 Soviet sailors. A claw engineered to handle a 1,750-ton lift, wrapped around the secrets that could change the Cold War. Project lead John Parangosky stares at the monitors, former U-2 program veteran, the man who stole secrets from the edge of space, now stealing them from the ocean floor. Beside him, a red phone connects directly to Langley, another to the Pentagon. If this fails, if the Soviets discover what's happening, it could trigger World War III. He gives the order. Begin the lift. The hydraulics engage. K-129 starts rising from darkness toward light, from the abyss toward exposure. 16,500 feet to go. 8 days of lifting, while Soviet ships watch every move. This is Project AZORIAN, the CIA's $5 billion gamble, the most audacious heist of the Cold War. And in 6 days, something will go catastrophically wrong. To understand this moment, we step back. March 8th, 1968, North Pacific Ocean, 750 miles northwest of Hawaii. A Soviet Gulf II-class submarine patrols in silence. K-129, 3 ballistic missiles in her hold, each warhead rated up to roughly a megaton, enough to erase Los Angeles, or San Francisco, or Seattle. Captain Vladimir Kobzar commands 98 men. Tall, black eyebrows, devoted father. 2 children wait for him in Kamchatka. They will wait forever. 10:10 p.m. local time. Something goes wrong. Theories vary. Battery explosion, collision, structural failure. What's certain? The hull implodes. 320 feet of submarine, crushed in milliseconds. The crew dies instantly, bodies compressed by pressure beyond comprehension. K-129 plummets through the darkness, 3 miles down. She hits the ocean floor. In Moscow, Soviet Naval Command waits for radio contact. 1 day passes, then 2, then 3. Admiral Victor Digallo orders the largest submarine search in Soviet history. 40 vessels, 53 aircraft. They search for 2 months. In the wrong place, they never find her. But someone else is listening. Deep beneath the Pacific, America's greatest secret, SOSUS, Sound Surveillance System, a network of underwater microphones designed to hear Soviet submarines from thousands of miles away. March 8th, 1968. The hydrophones detect what operators call a good-sized bang. U.S. sensors triangulate the sound. They pinpoint the location within 5 nautical miles. 40 degrees north, 180 degrees longitude, the international dateline. The Americans know exactly where K-129 died, but they say nothing. July 1968, the USS Halibut arrives, modified submarine, 2-ton camera system. For 3 weeks, it photographs the ocean floor. Late August, they find her. 20,000 photographs flood Langley. K-129 lies broken, the hull cracked like an egg. But missile compartment number 3 appears intact. Inside that compartment, a warhead rated up to roughly a megaton, Soviet cipher gear and codebooks, the crown jewels of Soviet naval intelligence. In Langley, Virginia, CIA analyst John Parangosky studies the images. Former U-2 program architect, the man who helped photograph Soviet bases from 70,000 feet. Now he has a different idea. He knows what's in that submarine. Nuclear launch codes that change monthly. Except these are 6 years old. Worthless for war, priceless for understanding how the Soviets think. The engineers tell him it's impossible. Previous deepest salvage, the USS Squalus, 245 feet. K-129 sits at 16,500 feet. That's like trying to pick up a needle from the top of Mount Everest in complete darkness with winds that could tear your hand off. Parangosky's response? Find a way. The solution comes from an unexpected source, Howard Hughes. Billionaire, recluse, perfect partner for the impossible, already famous for outrageous projects, the Spruce Goose, Las Vegas casinos, and above all, complete secrecy. By 1972, Hughes hasn't been seen in public for 15 years, communicates only through Mormon aides, watches the same movie, Ice Station Zebra, over and over, a film about stealing secrets from a Soviet submarine. The CIA approaches with an offer. Lend us your name, your reputation, your eccentricity. We'll build a ship. Tell the world you're mining the ocean floor. Manganese nodules, valuable minerals, the future of deep-sea industry. Hughes agrees immediately. He loves secrets almost as much as money. Project AZORIAN is born. Cost $800 million in 1974. Today, $5.1 billion. Sun Shipbuilding in Pennsylvania begins construction. The Hughes Glomar Explorer, 618 feet of specialized engineering. To the world, a mining vessel. In reality, a submarine thief. But the ship is only half the equation. In a hidden facility near San Francisco, Lockheed engineers build the impossible. A capture vehicle, 8 massive grabber arms, a claw engineered for a 1,750-ton lift. They nickname it Clementine. Like the old song says, she'll be lost and gone forever. February 1974. Final preparations. Every crew member signs secrecy oaths. Most don't even know the real mission. President Nixon gives one condition: don't start while I'm in Moscow. Nixon leaves Moscow July 3rd. 24 hours later, Glomar Explorer arrives at K-129's grave. Soviet intelligence has been warned. Ambassador Anatoly Dobrynin sends urgent cables to Moscow. The Americans are attempting something. Soviet Naval Command's response: impossible. No one can raise a submarine from such depths. They send ships anyway, just to watch. July 4th, 1974. Independence Day. The Glomar Explorer uses a dynamic positioning system, computer-controlled thrusters and reference beacons to pin the ship in place against the Pacific. Below deck, the moon pool. A massive opening through the ship's hull, 200 feet long, 74 feet wide, big enough to swallow a submarine. 2 massive steel doors seal the ocean out. For now, day after day, the crew lowers Clementine, adding 60-foot sections of steel pipe, one at a time, building a 3-mile straw, straight down. Soviet intelligence trawlers approach, 300 yards, then 200, then 100. Close enough to see what's happening. The American crew waves, smiles. Just mining nodules, comrade. They've actually brought up manganese samples, props for the greatest performance of the Cold War. July 18th, crisis. Soviet ships move closer. CIA orders crates stacked on the helicopter pad, block any landing attempts. Security teams stand ready, weapons hidden but loaded. If they board, the crew has minutes to erase the truth. The Russians circle, photograph, but don't board. The performance continues. 3 weeks pass. 3 miles of pipe descend inch by inch. Finally, Clementine reaches K-129. Inside the control room, 12 cameras show the submarine's twisted hull, radioactive, toxic, the tomb of 98 men. Sherman Wetmore, lead engineer, watches his creation work. The grabber arms extend, water jets clear 6 years of sediment. The mechanical fingers, designed to grip specific hull points, find their targets. August 1st, 1974, 6 o'clock hours. Engage capture sequence. Clementine's arms close. 8 massive grabbers, 5 on port, 3 on starboard. They bite into K-129's hull. 4 massive hydraulic breakout legs push against the ocean floor. 2,000 tons of force, breaking the submarine free. She moves. For the first time since 1968, K-129 rises. Hour by hour, K-129 ascends. 100 feet per hour, no faster, or the pipe might snap. The crew works 12-hour shifts, removing pipe sections as the submarine rises. One engineer hasn't slept in 36 hours. Says he can hear the ocean talking, warning him. Another keeps checking the same gauge, over and over, as if looking away might break something. Soviet ships, still watching. August 3rd. K-129 is 11,000 feet from the surface, 5,000 feet to go. Load gauges jitter, stress readings climb. If this lets go, the prize dies again. Then, disaster. Stress spikes, then a violent crack. A structural failure cascades. Several grabber arms give way, and most of K-129 tears free. The sail section, containing the missiles, the codes, the command center, tears away. Inside that falling section, 3 SSN-5 ballistic missiles, nuclear warheads, cipher gear, and codebooks that could have exposed Soviet naval communications and procedures. The ship's safe, the captain's orders, the entire navigation system, all of it falling 100 feet of submarine, plummeting back into the abyss. A payload of secrets, dropping at terminal velocity, back to 16,000 feet, lost forever. In the control room, silence. Sherman Wetmore stares at the monitors. 3 years of work, $800 million, the most sophisticated engineering project in history, failed. Later, he'll say, "Why the claw broke has haunted me ever since." Someone asks, "Do we abort?" Parangoski's voice cuts through, "We continue. We bring up what we have." But Clementine still grips something. The bow section, 38 feet of twisted metal. They continue lifting. What else can they do? August 8th, 6 days after catastrophic failure, the remaining section reaches the moon pool. The massive doors close beneath it. Ocean water floods the chamber, then drains. For the first time in 6 years, K-129 sees light, or what's left of her. Inside the moon pool, radiation alarms scream. The recovery team wears full hazmat suits. In the wreckage, they find bodies. 6 sailors, still at their stations. 1 man, in his bunk, logbook open beside him. Another, clutching a photograph, a woman, a child. The photo, somehow preserved. The radiation has preserved them 6 years underwater, but still recognizable as men, as sons, as sailors who died serving their country. The CIA could dispose of them quietly. No one would know. But something remarkable happens. A voice in the control room. They're sailors, like us. September 4th, 1974, 90 miles southwest of Hawaii. The crew of the Glomar Explorer assembles on deck. American sailors, CIA officers, engineers who built Clementine, men who've spent months lying to the world, preparing to tell one truth. They're holding a funeral for the enemy. 6 Soviet sailors, wrapped in the red flag of their nation, the same flag Americans were taught to fear, to hate, to destroy. Today, they treat it with the same reverence as their own. An American officer steps forward. He speaks Russian. He volunteered to translate for this moment. We commit to the deep the bodies of 6 Soviet sailors, 3 identified by name, 3 unknown. The American crew stands at attention. Then, something extraordinary. The Soviet national anthem plays. The anthem of America's greatest enemy, played with full military honors by Americans who risked everything to steal Soviet secrets. Some crew members have tears in their eyes. Then, the Star-Spangled Banner. 2 anthems, 2 enemies, 1 moment of humanity. The chaplain reads, "Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death." First in English, then the translator repeats in Russian, "Даже если я пойду долиной смертной тени." The Soviet sailors are lowered into the Pacific, buried at sea, with full military honors. By the men who stole their submarine, the CIA films everything. Someone believes this moment matters, that someday, someone in Moscow should see how Americans treated their dead. But that day is 18 years away, February 1975. Journalist Jack Anderson blows it open on national radio. Weeks later, Seymour Hersh expands the story in the New York Times. Project AZORIAN exposed. But from this blown operation comes something unexpected. When journalists file Freedom of Information requests, the CIA creates a new answer. We can neither confirm nor deny. The Glomar Response. Courts test the phrase in Philippi verses, CIA, 1976. The Glomar Response enters American law and everyday speech. 4 words that will echo through decades of government secrecy. Today, when you ask about drone strikes, about surveillance programs, about any classified operation, you might hear those same 4 words. It was like Petrov's decision, another small human choice, the choice of how to treat the dead, and it reshapes how we remember the Cold War. Born from failure, 3 miles underwater, October 1992, Moscow. The Cold War is over. CIA Director Robert Gates meets Russian President Boris Yeltsin. He brings a gift, a videotape. Yeltsin watches American sailors, burying Soviet sailors, watches his nation's anthem played with respect, watches former enemies, treating the dead with honor. The Russian president, a man who rose through the Soviet system, who knew these sailors, sits in silence, then speaks. This is what enemies should be. A Russian naval officer reviews the footage. His report, the American crew conducted themselves with honor. For the families of K-129, closure. Their sons, their husbands, weren't forgotten, even by the enemy. Some received letters, anonymous, from America. Your sailor was treated with respect. 3 miles beneath the Pacific, most of K-129 still rests. The missiles, the codes, lost forever in the abyss. Project AZORIAN cost $800 million. Retrieved 38 feet of submarine. By most measures, a failure. But perhaps the real treasure brought up from 16,000 feet wasn't nuclear missiles or code books, but proof that enemies can still see each other as human, that honor transcends borders, that respect for the dead matters more than secrets. You've been watching Unveiled Ops, where classified history becomes human truth. If this story changed how you see the Cold War, subscribe now. Share this with someone who thinks they know history. Next time on Unveiled Ops, we investigate a war fought in the shadows, a secret army created to save a nation that may have become a bigger threat than the enemy it was designed to fight. Some called them patriots, others called them terrorists. The truth? That depends on who's still alive to tell it. The truth doesn't stay buried forever. It waits in safe houses and sealed archives